4th down.
Season right here.
North Star in San Francisco. Excuse me.
Let's go, baby. Come on, Josh. Come on, Josh.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Thanks. Actually, no, I'm not in New York. I'm in San Francisco. As you could tell by the rain, just walked out. It's actually better weather, it looks like, in Buffalo. It's sunny in Buffalo, but it's colder. It's still rainy here in the Bay Area, but that's North Star here in North Beach. That's the Bills bar. The game is essentially over. The Bills fans are going to stay there for the last 2 minutes and 22 seconds, but Miami doesn't have any timeouts, and I have to say that was an embarrassing display from the Miami Dolphins at the end of the game. I don't care if Skylar Thompson's your 7th-string quarterback. If you're not ready to take a snap on 4th and inches with your season on the line and you get a delay of game, I mean, that's not worthy of professional football. That was really bad from Miami at the end of the game with that delay of game. I mean, they had 4th and inches. Are you kidding me? You should just have a sneak or something ready to go in your playbook. So, I like Mike McDaniel as a play designer and play caller, but he's got to have his team more ready than that. So anyway, that's going to end up the way that we expected it to end up, and that's with the Buffalo Bills winning, beating the Miami Dolphins. Credit to the Dolphins for making this closer than a lot of people thought it was going to be, especially after the start of the game. And probably, when we look at the impact for the 49ers, probably actually good news for the 49ers in the larger picture, because you want the powers in the AFC to beat up on each other a little bit before the Super Bowl. So, I mean, some 49ers fans may want the Kansas City Chiefs to lose. Well, the best chance of the Kansas City Chiefs to lose is if the Bengals and the Bills stay alive longer, right? If the Dolphins win, then your chances of either the Chiefs getting knocked out or the Chiefs getting beaten up a little bit because it's a tough path to get to the playoffs get a little bit lower, right? So that perpetuated itself. The Bills are going to be alive after this game against the Dolphins. They're going to have a shot to get into that. It's just a wild Royal Rumble in the AFC with the Bengals and the Chiefs being the other two favorites. So that result probably works in the 49ers' favor, although it's a little bit less clear since that's obviously on the AFC side and the 49ers are on the NFC side. The next game coming up, I'm here in San Francisco. I'm in North Beach, Italian neighborhood. You can see Columbus is behind me. Maybe I walk around a little bit, show you guys some more. But that was North Star, the Bills bar. That's where all the Buffalo fans congregate. Hopefully you enjoyed their passion. Those guys, they love their football in Buffalo. Obviously a tortured fan base in a way. Only team to lose 4 straight Super Bowls. The Vikings bar is the bell tower on Polk. I'm going to have to go right a little bit right now. So maybe I go sit down in a coffee shop for the first half of the Vikings-New York Giants game. And then show you guys the Minnesota Vikings bar here in San Francisco. So stay tuned. We're going to walk a little bit more, talk about that Vikings game, and then get going. By the way, North Beach, there you see Transamerica Pyramid. The church just to the side of it, that's actually technically not a church. It's the National Shrine, the St. Francis of Assisi across Columbus here. You can see the Italian flags on the lampposts. crossing Columbus. That's the iconic shot from Mrs. Doubtfire. There's a scene there where Robin Williams is crossing the street and see the Transamerica Pyramid, and then you got cool like little, since Columbus is a diagonal street, you have cool little Flatiron style buildings in North Beach. Maybe we walk this up to Washington Square and I sit down at a cafe somewhere around here to continue working and covering the 49ers. But from the 49ers perspective, what needs to, not needs to happen, but what would be best for the 49ers is if Minnesota wins this game. Because Minnesota is the weakest team that's still alive in the NFC playoffs. They're seeded higher than the New York Giants, but they're weaker than the New York Giants. They get them at home, and Minnesota's gotten lucky this year, but Minnesota's the only team in NFL history that's won 13 games with a negative point differential. So that obviously must be taken into account. The 49ers want the easiest path possible, and that, I think, involves Minnesota next week. So you want Minnesota to win. I know it technically wouldn't be an upset, but I think they're weaker than the Giants, even though they're favored in this game. You want them to win. And then I think if you're the 49ers, you'd rather the Cowboys win the other game, because Dallas is a better shot, in my opinion, of knocking off Philly than Tampa Bay does. But either way, you want Philly to lose before the championship game. And Minnesota winning this next one against the New York Giants maximizes the chances of an Eagles loss, because the New York Giants, I don't think, are going to go into Philly and win. But I think Tampa Bay, or even preferably Dallas, could do it. And obviously the 49ers want the easiest path for themselves. So let's make it all the way out here to Washington Square before we call it an afternoon. Start working ahead of this Giants-Minnesota game. Those of you just joining, rewind to the start of the video when it's done, and you'll see the Bills Bar here in North Beach, which is my favorite neighborhood in San Francisco. Original Joe's right behind me. There's Tony's Pizza. He's won the world's best pizza several times out on the corner. Hard to get a table there, though, without waiting a really long time. And, since the rain has subsided a bit, we can see a little bit more. You could see Russian Hill there. Behind me, the San Francisco Italian Athletic Club. See the flags on the roof of that building. And then our final little site's going to be coming up here. A really European-like square, Washington Square. We'll spin it around. And there you go. That's St. Peter and Paul's Church here. That's where Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe took their wedding pictures, actually. I think they were both divorced at the time, so they wouldn't let them get married in the church. So I think actually the actual wedding had to happen at San Francisco City Hall. But Joe DiMaggio's from this neighborhood, which is Little Italy in San Francisco. And that is Washington Square, the tour of it. Anyway, 49ers, I think, want the Vikings to win. Enjoy this next game. I'll catch up with you all very soon. Everybody take care from North Beach.